Internet, the time has come. I'm finally a master of everything, and I'm going to share all of my secrets with you. Wait, time out. I'm interrupting myself on my original video. Okay, so Marcel, the Caped Geek on Instagram and on YouTube, is having a People's Choice Awards winner for the people that built this $500 mystery box. The voting on that ends on, July 24th at 9 p.m. Pacific time, West Coasty stuff. So if you want to vote, I'm going to leave a link to his Instagram down below. Here's otherwise I'm going to splash a thingy across the page showing what the post looks like. If you go find him on Insta, you can cast your vote for who you think built the best mystery box. I'm not saying you have to vote for me. If you do, I wouldn't hate you. And my Instagram that is used for the voting is Empty Thought Balloon. But vote for whoever you thought had the best box. There's links down below to everything. But please watch the rest of this video, all that stuff too. All right, back to our regularly scheduled programming. You can find out more in my free course down below. Yeah, I'm kidding. I don't have a free course. I'm not a master of anything. I'm just me. Who is me? Who am I? Words are hard. I'm Taylor. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to the internet. If this is your first time on the internet, leave immediately. It's a terrifying place. But yeah, I'm going to build a mystery box, or I'm going to show you, rather, how I put together a $500 custom mystery box today. If that's something that interests you, stay tuned. And, hit the like button, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell, hit all of those things. They help the channel. When I get to 1,000 followers, I'm going to give away some cool books and stuff and things and whatnot. So, yeah, that's helpful. Anyways, let's get into this. A gentleman named Marcel, who is Caped Geek on Instagram and Caped Geek on YouTube, is running, or at the time this video airs, will have run a sort of competition to put together a $500 mystery box. I'm going to leave a link to his stuff down below. Give him a follow, and you can find out. And you can find out the results of all this probably by the time this airs. But the point is, he invited people to, put your names into a hat, basically, and build a $500 custom mystery box for him. There were 8 contestants that got chosen. I was one of them, and 2 backups. And of those 8 people, each one of them he said each one of us $500, which is very generous. And now we have to build them a mystery box and send them out. And the winner, quote unquote, of these boxes, or whoever builds the best box, gets to choose one book out of any of the boxes as their prize. So it's pretty great. And I figured, why the heck not? I've built some boxes before, and I'm going to build one again. And somebody else in another internet chat I was in was like, hey, are you going to film how you do this? I'm like, you know what, that's not a bad idea. And so I'm filming how I do this. I've sort of skipped a few steps. I started with a bunch of books. I weighted it down to the ones I've chosen. I'll go through the ones I've chosen and explain why I chose those. But a couple of things quickly before I dive into that. There's 2 basic rules two basic truths that I think work very well when you're building a mystery box. One, you're not going to please everybody. That's just kind of the way life is. It's just not going to happen. No matter what, some folks are just not going to like what you do for them, and that is that. Now, that said, you can kind of offset this by number 2. Build a box you would like to get. I mean, unless you're like a weirdo that only collects like Wonder Woman bondage covers from 1947 or some shit like that, then don't. But otherwise, if you're a general comic collector and you like a lot of stuff, just build something you'd be happy with. And that alone will probably be the only lesson you really need. I do have a few other, hopefully, tips and tricks and whatnot that I'll get into, but those are the 2 things that'll serve you very well. Anyways, that being said, let's get into this. I have a total of 10 books that are raw and 2 slabs and an extra thing I threw in that I'll show you. I built this backwards. I started with the slabs, and then I added books kind of in reverse order to get down to the first book. And then I figured that's the easiest way to do it because you can start building your value with the most valuable books, and then you kind of fill in after that. But I'm not going to show you in that order because I think I'd make a very boring video if I started with the banger books first. So I'm going to show you those at the end. And then, yeah, also, as far as value goes, I know I'm picky with boxes, and I have an opinion on boxes, and this is my opinion. A $500 box should be worth well over $500. Because if you're just going to give somebody 500 retail dollars worth of books, then they could just go get their own goddamn books and not buy your box. And that's not fair. in my opinion. I know there's other opinions on the internet, and people have different thoughts of the matter, but especially in a case like this where I'm building a custom box blind for someone whose opinion I don't necessarily know, I'm going to give them overvalue because I want them to like the box, and I want them to enjoy what they get. And I think having a starting point where you start at overvalue is one very easy way to do it. I'm not doing this to make money. I've already spent the money on these books. Some of them go up and down in value throughout the times of collecting them, and that's the nature of collecting. But I'm giving this person more than $500 worth of books because I think that's the proper way to do it. That's just me. And also, with that, how I find my values is through eBay Last Sold. I know there's other ways to do it. There's like apps and like fair market value and like cover price and all that. I don't think they're crazily up to date on a lot of those. eBay Last Sold is the best metric I have found to give a valuation on books. I don't take just the last sold because that could be an anomaly. But I will like scroll down and look at like kind of the average of the last 5 or 10 sales if there's enough sales to do it. And that's kind of how I pick it out. Now, let's get into the books. First of all, the most valuable book of the bunch, obviously, clearly, without a doubt, Turok #1! Yeah, that's right. I'm putting a Turok in there. I know it's a $500 box, and I know this is a $1 book. But, and this is also a but, you gotta have some humor when you're building these things, I think. And everybody loves Turok. It's shiny, it's gold, it's a meme, it's a joke, and this is part of it. Kind of like, I want to set the tone. I want to like be like, oh, what the hell is this? In a kind of funny way. I hope to get a chuckle. We'll see if it works. If not, I may not win this competition, but that's just the nature of the goddamn beast. So, I'm starting with the Turok #1 because I think it's fun. Also, all of these I put in fresh bags and boards. I do think that's important as well. Presentation matters, and I want to get the books how I'd like to receive them. I don't do Mylar on these because I have a feeling that the judge is going to, or whoever's doing these is going to take the books out of the Mylar and stuff, and I found that Mylar can be very tricky to get books in and out of. Like, books can stick with the static nature of that Mylar, and so I'm using Silver Age books, Silver Age boxes, yeah, silver bags, silver backs. Words are hard because that gives me uniform size kind of to work with. Everything fits and ships well, and yeah. Turok #1. Next, and this one's a little obscure-ish, and I was thinking about swapping it out, but I'm not sure. We'll see how the final box goes. But we have Star Slayer #2. This is the first appearance of the Rocketeer. And I think it's a very undervalued key. I think it's an undervalued property, undervalued franchise. I think it's a fairly cool cover. And it's not a crazy valuable book, but I think it's a good like ramp up from the joke that is Turok #1. I was debating swapping it out for the High Republic #1, but this is a pretty recent book. And I think everybody and their sister probably grabbed this when it came out. Because it's kind of like was a hot thing during COVID and it's like highly spec'd out at the time. So I think this one's a little bit more obscure and a little bit more rare, and I think it's a pretty good choice without being too obscure. I do think that like when you're building a box, you have to be careful that you're not throwing in like books nobody has ever heard of. Because if you do that, then you're probably, at least in this situation where I'm trying to win a contest, I don't think I have a shot in hell if I do go that route. If it's books that like everyone's like, what in the goddamn hell is this? And that could piss off the person pretty easily, I think. Again, these are all my opinions. This is just how I'm going about it. Your mileage may vary. If you want to build a competing video, please do. Leave me a comment down below. I'll happily watch it. We can talk about it. We can come on my channel. We can debate it. We can do all of these things. But that's how I do it. Next, I'm kind of like going from there to another indie book, but that's a little more well-known. Also still a rare cover. I have to look and research to see who this is before I put it in the box. But this is Nice House on the Lake #1, a store exclusive negative space variant. So it's a title somebody should know, but it's a variant I doubt they have because it's a pretty hard one to find, and it's a cool cover. And I think it's another like nice transition. I'm trying to get like a sort of rhythm going with this box where I'm like, oh, that's an interesting beats, like one to the next to the next. And I'm also going to put. I don't do this in every box, but I am in this case. I'm going to put little post-its on the back explaining the relevance of the book. So in this case, I'll put the artist and the store that it came from. They still know it's a new Nice House on the Lake #1. That's not important to put it on there, but I'll put the who drew it and where it came from. So they'll know that it's a store exclusive. And so we're kind of building our way. Like you're adding layers. and you're building. And I starting fairly like small and then kind of obscure, kind of random. Then I'm jumping into another fun book. That's a signed book. I think having a signed book in this kind of box is also pretty fun. I do not have a COA on this, but this is a convention exclusive from Emerald City Comic-Con in Seattle. It's Rick and Morty Present the Vindicators. It's signed by the artist C.J. Cannon, and it's the first appearance of Pickle Rick. So it's a little obscure, but I think most people in the comic collecting community at least are aware of Rick and Morty, and if not, you should. It's hilarious, it's evil, it's twisted, it's everything that's right and wrong about this world all in one, and it's a key issue. It's got first appearance of Pickle Rick, so yeah, no COA, but you can print COAs in an inkjet printer. I don't think COAs are not worth a goddamn thing. They're worth the paper they're printed on, really. But if they could take this, they could have it sent to CBC and get it verified and get it slapped if they want. So, or CBCS. Words are hard, people. So yeah, that's the next kind of rhythm. It makes sense in my head. I'm doing my best to explain it. I may not make sense to you, but that's kind of how I'm going. And next, I'm going more mainstream and getting a little bit more with some minor keys. And I'm just kind of building up. And the next one is a pretty clean copy of Invincible Iron Man number 118. This is the first appearance of Rhodey Rhodes, who becomes War Machine. It's not a perfect book. It's got some stuff here, but again, it's probably the value is there. I'm not going to explain all the values and stuff in this video. That's not really the point of this, but it's a key. There's an upcoming Armor Wars show. Rhodey Rhodes will be returning, so I think it's a key that has potential to grow. Hence, it's placed on the list here. It's about midway through this stack of raw books, and I think it's a good place for it. And I do think that, I think the placement matters on all this. Also, just in the middle of all this, I'm going to start I have a Substack in progress, which is a writing platform for newsletters and stuff. I'm going to leave a link to that down below. I'm going to write an article with goes a little bit more into detail about my thought process about building these boxes and stuff. And so if you'd like, just give me a subscription, hit that button down there and subscribe to my newsletter. It's going to be free. I might have a paid tier down the line where I offer things like custom mystery boxes, where I put original artwork and then maybe build some comic boxes for people. So that might be an option later. But as of right now, the newsletter is completely free. It's an exercise basically for me to get back into writing and stuff. So give me a follow. I'd appreciate it. That's down below, along with my other links to my site, my Instagram, all that stuff. So thanks. Next, another key. And it's a timely key. I also think that's kind of important when you're building a box. You don't want things that have already come and gone, although the timing on this one might be tricky. I am optimistic and I'm gambling on this, that this will be relevant, and I think it's going to be close enough that I can make this work. This is Thor number 2, the first appearance of Jane Foster as Thor. And so it's a first to print. It's in very good condition. It's a direct edition. There was no such thing as newsstands when this came out. I don't believe. Maybe it might have been right at the very end of newsstands. But it's a first print. You can tell it by the red border down there. It's a relevant key because the movie is dropping probably about the same time this box is coming. And that's going to tie in to the last book in this thing, which is another kind of rhythmic thing I'm trying to get. I also try to give a lot of variety because I don't know who I'm building this box for necessarily. Marcel is the person paying me for this, but there are 3 judges that are judging this. I don't know who they are. They're all blind judges. So I'm just trying to build a quality box that will please mostly everybody, if that makes sense. And even if they don't like all the books, they'll hopefully realize, hey, they're cool books. The value's there. It's a fun box. I'm down for that. That's kind of how I'm going with this. This next one is it's just a cool Punisher Virgin variant. Punisher number 2, Gabriel Delato Virgin variant. It's a hard book to get in good shape because it's black, and Delato loves these black covers. So yeah, it's a variant type book. I think that having a little bit of this in here is also kind of great and fun. Again, Marvel, people tend to like Marvel. Punisher's a hot character right now. They're the newest series, this is from a previous series, is pretty popular. They brought Frank Castle back. And so yeah, it's timely. It's not a key, but it is a hard to find variant. So that's the next one. Unless you think I'm forgetting all you DC folks, don't worry, I'm getting there. Not much. Marvel tends to do better than DC in these boxes for whatever reason. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. Marvel sells better on Whatnot. Marvel has MCU. DC is a hot goddamn mess. It is what it is. I love DC Silver Age books. Not everybody does, so I'm not throwing them in this box. But yes, we had the first appearance of Starling, another key book in a hot series with up-and-coming potential. And that's kind of again, how I'm building this for the most part. So we have, it's a book that's sought after. It's not a major key, but it is a, pretty valuable little spec book in pretty good condition. So that's the next kind of rhythmic piece to this puzzle. And then we have Web of Spider-Man, number 118. First appearance of Ben Reilly as the clone and all that stuff. As Spider Clone, whatever it's called. So, not a book I collect, not a book I necessarily love. Older book, but not crazy old. And still a key, relevant to what's going on in the current Spider-Man titles and the villain and chasm and all that stuff. So, another fun little book that I think people will like. And then finally, for the Raw books. You want to kind of end the Raws with a bit of a banger, if you can. And again, we're talking at certain price points. If you're doing a $25 box, some of what I'm saying may not be relevant. You're going to have some filler books. You're going to have some of that stuff. But in a box this price point, you don't want a ton of filler. You don't want a ton of like garbage books thrown in there just to do it. You don't want like number 2 in a miniseries unless that number 2 is a first appearance of like a whopper of a character, which the Jane Foster Thor, that kind of stuff counts. And so this is a second print. Probably about a fine plus, maybe a very fine. I'd say maybe even a near mint minus. It's got a couple non-color breaking ticks. It could probably use a little bit of a press, but this is the second print of Batman number 423. A famous cover, a fairly valuable book. In this condition, it's pretty darn valuable. It's it's a DC book, but it's a DC book that even non-DC fans are gonna be like, yeah, all right, I know that one. That's McFarlane. I got it. We're good. And that's kind of how how I wrapped up the Raws. So we get 10 Raw books. I think that's a good number. The filler obviously is the Turok, but you need something to break the ice. It's sort of a, you want to catch your attention and kind of like be like, what in the hell, all at the same time. And so I'm going to put these together with a note that says start here, package them well, put them in a Gemini, and then put them as part of the box. And then I do have 2 slabs that I put together that will round out the box. This one's still technically relevant. It's a little bit older. It was a bigger key last year. But this is The Return of Boba Fett, Star Wars number 81 in a 9.0. It still sells for a great deal, a good amount of money in this grade, in this condition, because it's an older book. It's a 60 center. It's a gorgeous painted cover. And most people that are into comics like Star Wars. Not everybody. Again, you cannot please everybody. But you take your shots and you go from there. So that is the first slab, and the second, and the wrap up of the box, as far as the comics go, is Thor: God of Thunder, number 2 in a 9.8. This book has fluctuated a bit, and initially I was thinking I would just put this slab in because it had peaked at over $500 not too long ago, but the price has been dropping a little bit. The movie is coming out probably while these boxes are being judged. So I'm gambling that it's going to be a good movie. I have faith in Taika Waititi, I have faith in Thor, and I have faith in Christian Bale. And so if this book drops like a lead balloon, this box might not be great. I think this will still hold value, and that's kind of why I'm doing this. It's a cool book. It is a great read. I have glare all over this. Sorry, these CBCS bags make it hard to like kind of catch this one. But it's a banger of a book, no matter what. You may not love it, but you should at least respect that it's a hell of a book, and that's the box, mostly. And then one last little fun thing, because they're grading on extras you throw in, and I can fit this all into a medium flat rate mailer. If I do this, I'll wrap them tightly. Well, it might be tight. I'll figure it out. I'll package this. That packaging is another video, people. I'm not packaging today for you. That's not riveting content. This is the riveting stuff. But I am nothing if not a self-promotional person. Let's put it that way. So I'm throwing a copy of my art book in. It's not comic related. It's not necessarily for everybody. It's got the microphone shadow on it because I'm nothing if not a lighting pro, and obviously. But you know what? This is not even the copy I'm sending. I'm sending a signed copy and remarked copy along with this. Oh, no, it is. I did. I had the wrong page. So I put a remark in it. Hang on. There we go. Like I said, I'm a pro. It's remarked. It's signed. It's a fun thing. I figure, you know what, no matter what, nobody else is going to have this in their box. Unless they bought this for me or won it somehow and hated it and were like, well, we're getting rid of this shit. So, yeah. I'm not counting this as the value, and I'm not going to actually even disclose the total value. You can probably go on eBay last sold and figure out pretty close to what I came up with here. But I think I know I hit over $500. I'm pretty sure it's a comfortable box, and it's a box again that I would like to receive. And so that's about it. That's how I built this box. I started with about 30 books. Kind of whittled my way down to this, and I whittled my way down to a few other choices, like, again, things that didn't make the cut. I have others. This was just here when I grabbed it, and other, I initially had a new Avengers #7, the first appearance of Illuminati, but that book is tanked and it's kind of past its prime. So I'm like, I just won't include it. I'll hold on to it. Maybe it'll come back, maybe it won't, but I don't think it's great for a mystery box right now. I don't think mystery boxes should just be a dumping ground to get rid of books you don't like. I mean, they can be, and I know people that do that with, and I have another show where some of that's the case called Unboxing Match. And that brings me to my sort of credentials. I'm not an expert. I'm just a guy that, like, critiques mystery boxes. I've opened a bunch. I'm picky about receiving them. And also, I have opinions, like everybody. I'm on the internet. I have opinions. And I do have a show called Unboxing Match, where almost every Monday night I do exchange mystery boxes with a guest. And so I've built a fair amount of custom mystery boxes for people. And so that's about it. It's just, I like building boxes. I think there are things to be gleaned from watching how other people put together boxes. I would love to see it. If anyone else wanted to put together a video about how they build their boxes, I will happily watch it. And leave me a note down below. And that's about it. That's all I've got for you today. Don't be a dick, and I'll see you on the internet, people. Thank you. Bye. Oh, one last thing. Sorry. By the time this drops, you should be able to see who won on Marcel's channel. So go give Marcel a follow, give him a watch, and then let me know. Maybe I won, maybe I didn't. But I think I gave it a pretty good fight. And if you think it's a crap box I put together, let me know that too. All right, that's all I got. For real. For real, real. See ya.